In the Netherlands, 60% of the people cycle at least 3 times a week, 80% at least 1 time a week, and only 7% of the inhabitants hardly ever cycle or never cycle. If I would put an average Dutchman in London on the streets and I would ask him, what do you think of the cycle facilities in London? They would look around bewilderedly and, where? I can see it. Did I miss it?
So as an S we say, we provide cycling facilities at the stations, so there's no need for you to take the bike into the train.
The people with the highest social status cycle more than people with the middle social status, because in the Netherlands you are perceived as being sportive, environmentally conscious living person when you cycle. People, when it would be safe, would love to cycle. A lot of people, because you won't tell me that Dutch people are so different, and you won't tell me that the people in Cambridge and Oxford are so different from other English people. I think when you come in Cambridge, people love to cycle, if it only be safe. Health is an important factor. People do cycle a lot in the Netherlands because it's healthy. But a main factor is they like it. The example is maybe even stronger in Amsterdam, where more in the center part with 400,000 inhabitants, more than half of the trips are made by bike. If you are there and you would imagine that all these trips which are made by bike now would have to be made by car, then the whole traffic system would be blocked all day. So you could say that in Amsterdam and also in Leiden, the bike is the grease that keeps the traffic system and with that the economic system flowing. But there's also just finished a large survey in the Netherlands where there is for people, there's a comparison people who are cycling to work compared to people who don't cycle to work, and there is 10% less work absenteeism for people who are cycling to work compared to those who don't. And this amounts to billions of euros when you would capitalize on that. Ask me often how did that come about that in the Netherlands we did recover, because in the 60s bicycles were just seen as a nuisance. They were just in the way of the unlimited car use. But in the midst of the 70s there were a lot of parents, because in the Netherlands parents do want their children going to secondary education or the primary education. They want their children to bike to school. And in the midst of the 70s there was an action group which was called in Dutch Stop the Kindermoord, in English Stop the Child Murder, because they were concerned that there was so much fatalities amongst children biking to school. And they said to the government, we want you to stop this. We want safe bicycle facilities, because we want our children to be able to bike to school. From left to right, all parties support bicycling, and all parties really, a lot of them bicycle themselves. When an accident happens, in general the car driver is liable. And even when the car driver would say, yeah, but the bicyclist made a very strange movement, and then, yeah, I couldn't do anything about it, then the judge would say, well, you could see the bicyclist, you know that this happens with bicyclists, and you should reduce your speed in a situation where there are bicyclists. So still you're at fault. So only in situation where a car driver for instance, when he would stand still and a bike would ram into the side of the car, then of course the car driver isn't liable. But in a sense, we say in the Netherlands, car drivers should be aware of the situation that they are in a machine that could kill, and that they should behave responsibly for that situation.
With more than 500,000 departing train passengers every day and a 40% share, you can calculate that about 200,000 bikes, 400 Dutch train stations every day. In strong cooperation with the Ministry of Transport and ProRail, the Dutch rail infrastructure manager, NS tries to deal with these numbers. If you want to invest in customer satisfaction or a more attractive train product, the train journey itself is not the best place to start. This is why NS invests in the whole transportation chain. Bike Point, the shops. We have now 25 of these shops next to the guarded shelters, and first of all, we give much more service to the public transportation users who come by bike. One of the greater issues is that when you want to have your bike repaired, you bring it in the morning, and when you come back again, it's guaranteed that it's in the evening ready for you again.
I've just heard this wonderful expression, there is no space for cars in Leiden. I just think that's a wonderful expression of how we think about a city. There is no space for cars.
I haven't seen any tandems. There's a new market there for the Dutch to exploit, the rented tandem market.
Overfiets is the public transport rental bike system in the Netherlands, and it's a rental bike system close connected to public transport. The aim of Overfiets is to make the last mile more easy for the Dutch Railways customers. We focus on the frequent train user, and we try to make their way from the train station to their final destination more attractive. And I can say, with this close connection between a bike system, bike scheme, and public transport, Overfiets is unique in the world. That's the important difference with, for example, the Philippe system and other JCDecaux or Clear Channel systems elsewhere in the world. All those systems are more or less city-based bike schemes, and Overfiets is a national system focusing on train passengers and other public transportation users.
I'm Thijs Duinhouwer. I'm train manager for Thalys, and I'm checking the tickets on this train, and I'm for the safety.
And when you get off this train or when you go home, you'll be on a bike?
Yes, I'll take my bike to get home and to do shopping. Everything is easier than by car, because by car it will take more time than on your bike. It's much quicker, much easier, especially in the Netherlands.
There's clearly a sort of a wish to encourage cycling and encourage cyclists to use the train as well.
From very young age you take your bike because that's the quickest way to get around and the cheapest.
All you need is a little bit of commitment from our part of the world, and just think what you can achieve. This is absolutely fantastic.